Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. This is the final episode of restoration of a 1941 Western Royal AM radio. In this episode, we focus on repairing the chassis, modifying the chassis to fit in the cabinet, since we reinforced the cabinet with the fiberglass cloth, reassembling the radio, and testing its performance. I highly recommend watching the previous episode in this restoration series. Episode 1 is a step-by-step guide on repairing damaged Bakelite radio cabinet for outstanding result. In episode 2, a detailed walkthrough on how to create a waterslide decal logo for this radio. In episode 3, we preserved the original back panel with the built-in antenna, created paper label for the cabinet, and installed new speaker cloth. To support this channel, please like the video so YouTube can share it to others. Feel free to subscribe and turn on notification for the future video. Thank you very much. Let's get started. Enjoy the video. As I mentioned in all my videos, first thing you do, you want to cover the speaker with some type of lead. As the first thing goes up, is the last thing going to come out. You definitely want to do that, otherwise it will get damaged. Don't forget to do that. So I'm going to put a hole right here where the hole is, of course. One more back here, then should be fine then. Alright, now it's protected, you see. If I touch here by mistake, I'm not going to poke through the speaker. You might say, how I know that? Because it happened to me in the past. That is what I learned. Always learn from our mistakes, right? Let's see under the chassis. The volume control has a big shaft, as you see. Still I'm finding a piece of that's Bakelite. That is shame. It's pretty clean. No rust. I'm amazed. Bunch of my radios, as you know, when I buy them, have tons of rust. But this is very clean. That's a good sign. Looking for all the capacitor. They are not leaky at all, but you know I will test them and I will replace them. That's a good sign at least. No rust and chassis anywhere. The chassis is in very good condition. That is, I'm surprised. When I saw the radio, you know, online, it was in good condition, but it got damaged in shipping process. Alright, all clean as you can see. And one thing, I put this knob back because this was, you know, moving back and forth this. I didn't want this pop out because the way they put the string, I mean, it goes everywhere. Even here, this side, you see there's one, this side has a spring in it. Goes here, comes here, then another one here has a spring on it. So I never saw this type of connection. You see the strings goes all the way down here. Wow, look at here. Watch here, this is the first time I see this. You see the dial string, it comes here, it goes another loop here, it comes back here, it goes through some type of, I'm not sure what that is. That is very, very interesting. I never saw anything like this before. You see what I'm talking about? It goes through the chassis, then it come up from there, you see, one side went in, other side comes up, goes through this wheel, then from this wheel comes here, come all the way back here, then goes underneath, goes in another wheel, then it goes around here. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. I'm videoing this. If something happened with this dial string, I can put it back, I hope. Very, very complicated. Of course, here the dial string hooked up, you know, to this dial right here. By moving this, see, that will change. Very interesting. This is my first time I'm seeing something like this. Have you seen this before? If you have, leave a comment for me. Tell me what other radio you saw this. As you notice, when I received the radio, this electrical cord was cut off, as you can see. I have to take this screw out because this is how they secured it. You see how they secured it back there? Then the electrical cord comes out. It went through the insulation, as you see right here. Then it goes through this hole back to the top. Let's check that one out. Right here you see soldered here and soldered other side. That's crazy the way they did it. Okay, the nut is out. Let's take the screw out too. Alright. I don't know if you can see it or not. Electrical cord comes through his hole, as I mentioned. Now one side is soldered right here. You see right here to this tube. The other one by itself went to the switch. So one cord goes here, one soldered right there. Alright, now I see how they did it. Alright, what I'm doing, I'm replacing this cord, as I mentioned. You know, the other one was cut off. I already removed one of them. Sometime, you know, in the old radio, when you work on it, you want to desolder a part. So the trick is add some new solder to your soldering gun. You go just over there, put it over the old solder. The new solder, it will melt the old one right away. Alright, they come out. See, these old solders are sometimes pretty hard to melt them. So again, add some solder here to solder gun, then it will come out much easier. Hopefully this will help you. Alright, I'm going to install this new cord. This one is polarized. You see one side is much wider than the other side. See this one that is a little wider, that is the common. This one is hot. So I want to see which side of this wire is hot. Usually they mark it on the wires, but it's so hard to see which one it is. I mean, it's so small, you have to look at it under magnifying glass. And instead of doing that, I used multimeter. So here I put it in the sound on multimeter. So let's touch this wire here. So that is hot. This is not. See that? This is the hot one. So I'm going to mark this. So don't forget which one is a hot. Hot always goes to the on and off switch. Alright? Don't forget to do that. And this one goes to the, you know, other side. But this is always, you know, the hot side. Always put it on the on and off switch to be safe. So I get quickly my highlighter. I highlight a little of the wire red so I know it goes to the switch. Add this power cord to it. Since I checked underneath and checked all the capacitors and everything is looking okay, none of the old capacitors are leaky at all. So I'm going to test all of them with my multimeter before starting this radio. So let me test all this to see if they're in good condition or not. Of course, for the age of this radio, they need to be replaced, but this is going to be just a test, right? Now let's talk about some safety issue. You're dealing with electricity. It's very dangerous. It can kill you, so be very careful, please. You need a few equipment that you can purchase it in Amazon. First one, you must have isolated transformer to keep you safe when you work in the antique radios. And also variac, you can actually adjust the amount of electricity comes inside the radio. And this one, the dim bulb tester, you can actually build this yourself. You can Google it. There is tons of information out there. This is the setup I'm using on my Workbench. Please make sure you know to use this equipment to keep you safe. This radio worked very well. Actually, this was the radio that I used to test your single tracer, single injector that I built. It works very well with no issue, but I'm going to replace all these capacitors. Test a couple of them. They're still very good, but through the years they're going to go bad, and I don't want down the road to have problem with it. Let me replace them one at a time. I suggest very highly, if you're new in this hobby, replace one at a time. Do not remove all that and try to replace them. Believe me, you're going to forget the connection. Just take some of your time, change one at a time, then you're not going to have any problem. Alright? Again, this radio was working very well, as I discussed earlier, but something's telling me go ahead and change them. Alright? Let's do that. And usually what I do, I document all the capacitors where actually they're connected. Each tube has something like this. They call them pen. Then I count it clockwise. This is hooked up to pen 2, so I draw all this. See all of them, that they are here capacitors. So that's the first thing I do. I go there, try to draw everything, make sure that you're picking the right pens for each tube. Then next, like this one, you see I loosened up. This one was hooked up right to the center of the volume control. So I already removed one side, not both sides, because I don't want to forget. Even I document it, but still this is what I do. I can pick this up like that. I already cut this one. These are a few layers on top of each other. We're discussing about if there's several capacitors on top of each other. See, I push this aside. Now the next, I already cut this one side, so I'm going to pull this one on too like that. See, like that. I'm going to leave it right here. There's one here in the bottom. This one is right here. It hooked up to pen 3 of this tube as well as pen 4, and there's a 0.01 microfarad. Of course, one by one I look to see what they are. I also documented right there. These I have not documented. I need at least to cut one side, be able to read. Sometime, the value of the capacitor might be underneath. So if I can't see it like this when it was in the surface, of course, I wrote that down. Again, I suggest to do this for those of you just got started. That way you're never going to forget, right? So I'm going to replace the bottom one first. Then, of course, this one going to be next. That's going to be third. What I'm trying to say, build it from down up. Okay? That's the easiest way to do it. Even I document everything, but it's still this the way I do it, because it gets so complicated. This is a lot of space under the chassis. Some radio, there is not that much space. When I actually here add something, this is going to walk you through step by step as well. There are different ways you can document this. Some radios, you need several layers to document. Like I shared with this video, I highly suggest watch this video as well to give you some idea what's the best way to do this, alright? Let me continue. Let me show you how I remove multi-section electrolytic capacitor. You see all these wires is hooked up to it. Like there's 4 things goes here in this pen. Call it ground or common. Of course, resistors, you see you have to figure out all how to connect it here. One thing I suggest to do, this is what I did. I got my multimeter. Let's assume I want to find out this wire. I put one side of multimeter here, another side, here, put it on the sound and make sure this is actually the right wire. Because the wires crisscross, so you have to figure that out. Again, let's say you want to find this. One side of multimeter here, then you have to touch almost every pen to see which one is connected to. Because when you look at under the chassis, it's not this obvious like that. So make sure have a good drawing like this before you remove the capacitor. Believe me, you need to have this, otherwise when you put it back together it will not work if you don't know where to hook up the wires. Hopefully this makes sense. Just want to show you what I did to remove that. Again, I have other videos I'm going to put here up here that it will walk you through step by step how to do this, alright, to make sure you have a successful result. Alright, let's continue. Finally, this is out. It took forever to take it out. One thing I suggest very highly, get some type of highlighter and mark one of this so you know how to install it back. That's very important before you remove it, because you want to know how to install it back. Alright, took a long time to take this out. As you see, it's out of the chassis for so many wires hooked up to it. So next what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean all these pins. I'm going to clean it so all the solder comes out. You might ask why? Because when you want to install it back, it's very important this all be clean, otherwise it's not going to go through. You see these 3 holes? I had a hard time to take it out. So you want to clean them, it's going to install much easier. Be very careful when you remove it, you don't break this. You know, this is like a some type of, like a, let's call it computer board, you know, some type of board there. That is important. So take your time. Took me good, believe it or not, close to 3 hours to remove all this, because you have to document it one by one to make sure you know you have it correct. Always double check. When you draw, double check the wires. You see how what I was talking about, the wires? It's so hard to know where from here goes where. That's why you trace it and try to find it. Hopefully all this is going to assist you. You know, just take your time, don't rush. Take one at a time, document, and you're not going to have any issue, especially if you double, triple check your work. This is just has 2 capacitor inside. One is a 40 microfarad, 150 volts. Of course, you know the volt can be as high as you want to, not below 150, of course. And another is 20. So stay with this range, 40 and 20. Of course, finding 40 and 20 is going to be hard, but maybe you can use here 22, something like this, alright? I will show you, you know, what I want to use. So I'm going to test it to see how off it was. One thing I noticed about this radio, all these capacitors that I took out, they were in tolerance. But again, I removed them, so down the road I don't have any issue. But they were all very close to the tolerance. It's amazing, all these years, you know, still this capacitor was fine. Again, the radio was working pretty well, but I removed them because down the road I don't want to mess around with it. Since I'm repairing this radio, especially the chassis was in very bad condition, I said let's just change everything, as we discussed earlier. Alright, let's just test this capacitor to see how off it is. And this one is about 75, almost 76 microfarad. That's supposed to be 40 microfarad original. You see how high it is. It was twice as much. And for the other one, this should be 20 microfarad, is about 34 microfarad. So this multi-section capacitor definitely is off range. I mean, a lot. You see, all these paper capacitor, they were on range, they were a little off, but multi-section capacitor or electrolytic capacitor is very off, as you can see. I'm glad I removed it. Alright, finally I were able to remove this, and look how much tar is around this. It's a very hard time to remove it. I had to hit this for a long time. Try to push the back. Actually, when I was doing that, this fall apart. Of course, I can make one of this. This like a cap inside. So it's out. Now I'm going to clean it, cut it, and install those new capacitors inside. It's a very messy job. Actually, to save time in this video, I do have another video that I go through step by step detail how to repair this capacitor, feel free to watch that video. It really will assist you. Alright? Let's test the dog bone resistors in this radio. Since this resistor is out, I'm going to measure it. Let's see. It shows 1.1 K ohm. Okay, let's key this information into this database that I designed. This, of course, is a dog bone resistor. We're going to select the colors. The body is A, so it's a brown. B on the left side is a black. C is the dot was red. Of course, D is a silver. If you look at it in the bottom, this resistor is a 1 K ohm. The minimum is 900 ohm and maximum is 1.1 K. As you notice, our resistor had the same value as a maximum 1.1 K as well. So I'm going to keep this resistor. I'm going to use the same concept to test all resistors in this radio to make sure they're in good condition before continue with this project. Let's create a cardboard container cap for the multi-section capacitor. When I was removing this, the back fall apart, so I need to build something like that. I'm going to use this cardboard to build something for it. Alright? This I'm just pressing it. It's looking good. Alright, this is completed. Let's see if the chassis fits in the cabinet since we reinforced it with the fiberglass. I tried to install this inside the cabinet. Unfortunately, it didn't fit. And the reason it didn't fit because, we add some fiberglass inside the cabinet. As you recall, this was totally broken in so many pieces. And that's why usually I don't like to use fiberglass cloth, because it's going to make the cabinet much thicker. So I need to do some modification in this chassis to be able to fit into this cabinet. It needs a couple of modification. You see this curve area that is not fitting, again because we add fiberglass there. So I need to trim this. Try it again to see if it's going to install or not. It might need a couple of area to be trimmed, but not sure until trim this first. Usually that would happen. Again, you add fiberglass cloth inside the cabinet and make the cabinet, of course, thicker, but it's going to cause some type of issue. But it's not a big deal. I just need to cut here and shave it and then try to see if it fit or not. Alright, I cut that, but I used scissors. This is designed to cut metal to make my job easier. As you see, I cut it in the angle. Now I'm going to use this file to remove all the sharp area. I don't want any dust getting inside the radio. So I'm going to tilt it like that, be able to shave it. That's what I'm going to do to clean this. Just want to show you the process. Alright, see, it's not sharp anymore. So it is fixed. So let me try to install it to see if they need more modification. Alright, the grail card is totally dry. Let's install the chassis inside the cabinet. I'm working on this for several months, believe it or not. Sometimes it takes time when the radio needs a bunch of things. So let's install it. Of course, I already took the cover for the speaker. Usually that's the last thing you take that out. It's looking good. Let's put this thing together and get it done. And bring it in the angle. It's a little tight, this thing. Alright, let's file in. Perfect. It's looking good. It's like a brand new radio. Excellent. There's 3 screws underneath to lock it. Everything lined up. There's 3 screws now goes in. Put some washer underneath, of course. Again, as soon as stop, let it go. Don't force it, because you're going to crack the Bakelite. Of course, this is the backing. This is pretty interesting. This thing, you know, goes right here. There's a locking. It's going like right here. And there are 4 screws here that's going to hold the back cover. Alright, finally this radio is done. Completely done. Let me show you around the radio before we hook it up and test it. I'm so glad that I restored this radio because the cabinet now is in perfect condition. And even, you know, the back panel is done and installed. I'm really happy with the end result. I'm so glad that I used white color for this radio. This is my only radio that I used white color. Since this is an Art Deco design, I thought that color is going to work very well with this radio. You know, all other radios that I work up to now, they are in beige color, but this is the white color. I think it worked great, as you can tell. So I just want to show you around the radio so you see everything is installed and is looking good. So let's hook it up to see how it's performing. All right? Let me do that. Let's turn it on to see how it's performing. As you know, when you turn on the tube radio, it will take a few seconds to warm up.
German accent, just taking flashes to the face. But
let me turn it on a little bit. The hissing sound that you hear, since the fluorescent light is on, so I'll be able to video this, you will hear some hissing sound because of fluorescent light.
if he needs that, get him on the golf course without a camera. Let him relax, be healthy going into the playoffs. The Rockets are vulnerable. Alfie is
our limes. Dude wipes. They changed our wipes. See what I did with it?
I did see that. I intentionally pushed myself to go to the bathroom just for the opportunity.
You bet. I'm hankering for him as well.
And speaking of many stations, the reason I'm changing the station so quick so YouTube doesn't kick me out. Okay, just want to show you this video is really performing pretty well.
You're a third voice.
No, there's 2 Wilburn.
And some hemp.
They got a bus driver that sings real good.
Boy, he sings high.
Yeah, he does.
I can tell you what, too much nitrate.
Well, let's turn it down. The problem with the AM radios are that there is not enough stations, and majority of them, they are talk shows or churches. For that reason, I usually use the AM transmitter, which I hook up the Bluetooth to it. And of course, it transmits very well with the antenna. This antenna can go up to 4 feet tall, that it covers the entire house. So that's the first option. Actually, I made a video. I'm going to put some information up here. Check it out. You know, I will walk you through step by step. If you want to upgrade your radio to Bluetooth radio, what's the best process with just a few dollars? Or you can use, you know, AM transmitter, which I discussed in that video, to transmit any type of song or any type of music to AM radio. Again, since the AM radio, really, there's just a few stations, and through the years, it's going to be less and less. The majority of them are sport and also churches or talk show. There's nothing wrong with that, unless, you know, you want to listen to good music. So this is going to be another option. I'll be honest with you, it takes so much time to make these videos, editing, uploading, and make sure there's enough information that it actually makes sense, you know, if you want to follow. At this time, I want to take the opportunity and thank my subscribers with their uplifting comment. You always encourage me to upload more videos. since this is just a hobby of mine. Again, I appreciate you, enjoy all these videos, and you all have an awesome day. Take care. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when a new video being uploaded. You have a great day.